Welcome to Cross Gen Sisters. I'm Keisha. I'm the older sister.
And I'm Chantal. I'm the younger sister.
Hey, sis.
Hey, sis. I mean, can you believe we're actually doing this podcast?
I know. How long have we been talking about this for like so many years?
I feel like it's been 50, 11 years that we've talked about doing a podcast, and here we are, like mic in hand. Like, who are we? And just a little bit about what this podcast is and who we are, what we're going to cover. We are two sisters across from two generations. We're going to be talking about our lives, pop culture, what's going on in the news. We're really close. We have so much in common, and we're finally doing this.
Yeah. And we just wanted to share how, even though we're from two different generations, we have a lot in common.
Yeah, and it's kind of creepy sometimes when we go out to eat and you always order the same thing I do. And, it's like, wow, like the synergy of that, same thing,
Uh, I,
like
I would say
it's
it's
the
more that you order the same thing I do because I came first. So,
what does coming first have to do with you ordering this? Are you ordering first? It's not how I recall it. I recall when I order food,
here we go.
like, okay, I'm gonna get the Brazino, and then here you come. It's just, being the youngest, being a trendsetter, it's not a job for the weak.
Okay, first of all, I never order Branzino. And second of all, if I am the older sister, it should be like obvious that I'm the trendsetter and you're the follower. But you know what? That's fine. Why don't we just get into our first segment? Because we are.
Whatever gets you through your days, okay?
Yeah, okay. So I'm Keisha. I'm the older sister. Technically, I'm Gen X, but I don't really subscribe to that. I'm like on the cusp, so I consider myself an Xennial. Some of you might have heard this described as the Jordan Catalano generation, and people in my generation are going to know what that means. I am in my mid 40s. I live in New York City. I work in tech, but I am not a coder. Been there, tried it, didn't like it. I am a mother to a dog and only a dog. I like watching TV with the closed captioning on. And I'm slowly turning into a shaking my fists and these kids need to get off my lawn kind of person, but I'm trying to resist the urge to do that. And yeah, how about you, sis?
Wow. Spoken like a true Gen Xer. I
Okay.
love it. I love it. First of all, who is Jordan Catalano? It sounds like a mafia member from like the 70s. Who is that?
So offensive. There's an actor, also a singer, known as Jared Leto, who was in a show called My So-Called Life, which
Okay.
was a beloved but short-lived show from the 90s, starring Claire Danes as the perfect 15-year-old teen with all the angst, and Jordan Catalano was just so dreamy, and she was so dorky, and she just loved him, as we all did.
Wow, you just went back to like 1998, didn't you?
I did. I really did. It was
Love
a
that
great
for
show.
Well, if I didn't just show that I'm a millennial, I don't know what else will, because I was literally a toddler when all this was happening. So I'm
Virgin. Here we
Paul.
go.
I am a millennial. I am based in LA, but a proud Texan. Okay, born and raised, Southern bred. But I live in LA. I love it. Absolutely, just love the energy here. I love the sun. I love the water. It's giving mermaid. Okay, I'm goofy. I'm fun. I am also the mother to a fur animal and only a fur animal. He is my son, my child, and no one can tell me any different. I work in entertainment, and yes, I'm a vibe. I try my best to, just live this life thing called life as best as I can.
She is a vibe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, sis. So are you. You're such a vibe. Like, very much so.
Well, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Let's kick it off with our first segment called Today I Learned.
Yes, today I learned, well, it was actually today, it was the other day.
Yeah, what you
I
got for us, Chantal?
Oh, you just wait, Keish. Hold on to your pearls. I found out that if you soak a banana peel in water, like soaking it, like soak that banana peel in waters. And this is for all my plant owners out there, those who have plants that are thriving.
Sorry,
And
pause.
yes,
Did you say banana peel or banana pill?
peel, P-E-E-L. First of all,
Oh,
you know what
okay.
I said. First of all, what is a banana peel? Okay.
I'm sorry. It's the Houston accent. I
You know damn well what I
confused.
said.
Banana.
What is
Okay.
banana?
So,
Okay.
soak a banana pill.
Yes, peel.
Hmm?
Thank you. You soak a banana peel into, you can see what I have to deal with. You soak a banana peel in water and you let that thing just, just marinate. And then you can use that water to like feed your plants. Like it provides nutrients, it provides hydration. It is just like a thing. You can put in a spray bottle and spray your plants. It's giving a banana split, okay? It's giving growth. My snake plant is smelling like a banana sundae. So, yes, you can soak them banana peels, y'all.
I'm sorry. So you said you found this banana peel trick on TikTok?
Found it on TikTok, my second home,
Sounds about
um,
right.
as you know. And so I no longer use the big G, the big Google. I use TikTok for all my needs and wants and desires, because that's just um. So yeah, I found this fact out on because my plants have just it's an energy thing. I can tell when we're vibing, when we're not. So whenever my plants are just like giving me the ick, I'm like, it's time to do something about this. And that's when I came across the banana peel trick. So yeah, soak them bananas, y'all.
I didn't realize that plants could give icks, but that's good to know.
They're living, breathing things. Like you could talk to them, they move. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know how I feel about this TikTok tip, but why don't you send me that link anyway, and we'll see if my plants can use the help.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, that's how she tends to. She tends to like not give me my credit, and then she'll be like, "Yo, can you send me that link to what you were mentioning?" And then fast forward a month, she's gonna have a thriving plan. You're welcome in advance. How about you? What's your fun fact, Keish? What's your today I learned? What? Tell the people.
So mine is a little bit different. I don't spend as much time on the tick and the talking as you do. Uh, so as you know, I am a big podcast listener, and I listen to this podcast called Smartless, and I listened to an episode with Seth Rogen. And for anyone who doesn't listen to Smartless, it is a podcast hosted by Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. And each episode they interview a celebrity. And it's really funny. Not that I'm here to advertise other people's podcasts, but just want to give that background. Um, and I'm not the biggest fan of Seth Rogen. Like, he's fine, but I've been binging this podcast and I've been starting to run out of episodes that I really want to listen to. So I'm now listening to the episodes with celebrities and I'm kind of like, okay, well. So the Seth Rogen interview was actually really good. It was really cool to hear him and like just being like a normal human being. And at one point, I think it was Jason Bateman, who has two daughters, asked Seth Rogen if he had any kids. And Seth Rogen was like, no, uh, I do not. When I listen to my friends with kids talk about being parents, I am not envious of them at all.
Mhm.
And my wife and I decided that we're not really interested in having kids. And he mentioned a quote from someone else that basically said they would rather regret not having kids than regret having them. And I completely agree with that. And the reason why this like stood out to me is because as you know, I am team no kids. They're great for other people. They're wonderful little human beings. I just don't want them. And I think it's important for other people in media to speak openly about making that choice so that those of us who have also made that choice feel validated, and people who are on the fence can also see, like, yeah, you can have a good life. Team no kids. So I thought that was cool.
I love that. I've heard Seth talk about that before. He's been one of those advocates who's been like, listen, I don't want kids, and so it is what is it. It is. And I think it's such an interesting conversation because he is a man talking about this, and so often
Hmm.
woman's perspective. And so someone that sticks out to me is Chelsea Handler, who's always just getting thrown tomatoes, tomatoes whenever she's just like, I don't have kids and I love not having kids. People just like will just like burn her at the stake. But meanwhile, Seth Rogen's like, I don't want kids. I'm like, good for you, dude. So it's just like that. I feel that, but I'm just like, I wonder how his wife is kind of, treated in society. We all know how she is, probably possibly treated, but I just found that very interesting. And to your point, him being the status that he is talking about something that's just, he's like, listen, I just want to smoke a bowl and keep it moving with my day. Okay.
Yeah.
It's, no, and I think that's so smart for him to know children are great. They're just not for me.
And speaking of Chelsea Handler, I also listened to her. She was also on Smartless, and I listened to her episode because of you, because she's also a person who I'm just like, eh. But you said great things about her podcast, so I was like, let me check it out. And she talked about not having kids, and I think you would like that episode. So,
Listen to it. And two, disclaimer. I used to not rock with Chelsea Handler. I told Keisha this. I thought she was an obnoxious white woman. I was like,
oh
she
Lord.
can't stand her. The privilege is exuding through her veins. But she has come around, y'all. It's crazy what life therapy and, things, life experiences will do to you. But y'all check out Miss Handler. She's kind of got a new fan in me. So, yeah, not to be promoting other podcasts. This is a whole damn podcast of us promoting other podcasts. But we're make a podcast because we're such avid podcast listeners and because we have our own story to tell. So, yeah.
100%. Let's get into our Pop and Jen segment. And this is where we're going to talk about pop culture. And
I'm popping, Jen.
yeah,
My
yeah.
God, no, my hey. Okay, sorry, continue.
Please, please, how about it? Since we don't have this video component showing, just so y'all know, she's over here dancing in the background, as she likes to do. So we did prepare topics in advance, but I did have a topic that I wanted to surprise you with because I wanted your genuine, unfiltered reaction.
Okay.
Uh, and that is, I have finally listened to Cowboy Carter
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Breaking.
months after it came out. I love it.
Oh, I love this for you.
I'm not surprised. I it took me so long because whenever Beyonce comes out with a new album, people like are so over the top. Like they have to overanalyze every freaking track, and all these think pieces come out, and I feel like it kind of taints the experience for me, and I just want to like let all that hype die down and make my own like opinions, like form my own opinions about this.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing with Renaissance. I listened to it like months later. I did the same thing with Lemonade, and it becomes like my own private experience with Beyonce. And yeah, it's great. So I wanted to tell you what some of my favorite tracks are and hear what you think. But overall, it's just a fun album. Like
Right.
it's soulful, it makes you move, makes you want to bounce. Uh,
That
so move that ass, yeah. So my one of my favorite tracks is Texas Hold'em.
okay.
Uh, it reminds me of, so I'm not from Texas, but I did live in Texas from junior high through college. And Texas Hold'em reminds me of the period I went through where I went through like this country music phase. And when you live in Texas, like it's hard to get away from country music. Like even if you want to, like it is everywhere. That whole like culture is everywhere. I went to the world-renowned Houston rodeo one year. Saw Garth Brooks, or not Garth Brooks, George Strait. Sorry, no offense to any of the George Strait or Garth Brooks fans. Uh, Even wore some cowboy boots, and I went country line dancing. And Texas Hold'em makes me think of the times that I went country line dancing in some of these clubs in Texas where I was like the only black person. If maybe there were like another two or three black people, it was certainly an experience. But yeah, Texas Hold'em is great.
I completely agree. I think that Texas Hold'em, it feels very nostalgic. I mean, as someone who was born and raised in Houston and, experienced the rodeos in the rodeo, and my first rodeo experience was Destiny's Child and Dixie Chicks, right? Like it's like it reminds me so much of Texas culture, and it just feels very familiar. It feels very comforting. It's a very comforting album. But it just makes sense that that's one of your favorites because it's just like familiar to you.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay. Oh, yay. What do you think about Tyrant? Did you that's
Hold on, hold on. Let's not jump.
okay.
Let's not jump the queue. Uh, Next up is it Two Most Wanted? Is that the title with Miley Cyrus? I love Miley Cyrus's voice. I love like the gravelly, like Janis Joplin of it all. And she has that country voice down. And I also watched Hannah Montana when I was like way too old to be watching Hannah Montana. So
All right. What?
I look, it was a good show. Like the Disney Channel was putting out hits, like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I kind of blame you and our middle sister Anne for this because that's the thing about growing up with sisters across generations is you have a lot of influence on each other. So anyway, I
I
know
mean,
Cyrus from Hannah Montana.
everybody has those days and everybody makes mistakes, so it's fine.
Mistakes. It was a good show. Anyway, uh,
Obviously, you don't know what I'm referencing if you don't know I'm referencing the theme song.
oh,
Wow.
I forgot.
Get out of here. Yeah, you watched it,
It
right?
was.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, I am not here for the Hannah Montana shade. Uh,
Literally the theme song. Oh yeah, she watched it, y'all. She watched the
I
show.
did, but it's been a while. Leave me
Mhm.
alone. Anyway, the one thing about this Two Most Wanted is the line about flying down the 405.
Yep.
Really?
No one's doing that.
No one is flying down the 405. If you are not aware, the 405 is probably one of the worst freeways ever built. Whoever built that, I hope that wherever they are thinking about how royally they fucked up because it is the worst. Like I have been on that freeway and wanted to drive myself off the freeway, like off the cliff
You were like, get me out
into
of
the brush. So every time I hear a flying down the 405, I'm like, bitch, when? At 3 a.m. when there's that the only time there's no traffic?
literally from like 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is the only time you could possibly get away with that.
So I get, they probably had to rhyme, but
I mean, Miley has a habit of saying she's flying down some type of California highway. You remember Malibu? Malibu. Girl, you're not getting to Malibu from LA in 30 minutes, sis. I don't know what kind of transportation your ass has, but it's giving private jet because no one is doing that. No one.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you like that song. That's a good one. That's a good choice.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then real quick, I really like the nods to bands like the Beatles and the Beach Boys, which are not my generation, generation before me, but I really like Blackbird
Mhm.
and and Yaya. There's like a sample of Good Vibrations and it's just brilliant. And I love that she's like exposing a new generation to these songs.
Oceans, yep. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, she tips her hat to a lot of legends. Jolene, come on.
Oh, yes. I mean, what that goes without saying. Like Dolly Parton, amazing. Like, wow.
I mean, it's such a good album. My favorite is Tyrant. It's just giving. time to bounce that ass. Like it's she's a tyrant every time I ride. Like, come on. It's so good. Oh my gosh. And she talked about Hangman. Please, I don't know who the hell Hangman is, but we need to have some words, okay? And that's what I need her to explain. But yeah, it's a fantastic album. She's really growing when it comes to just like it's just beautiful to see her come full circle with a country album and to basically be like, I am writing my own narrative. This is not country music. This is Beyonce music, period.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah. That song is dope.
It's such a good one. Such a good one. I mean, okay, music. Love it.
Yeah. So A plus for Cowboy Carter. No surprise. She, like, Beyonce is just a string of like hit album after hit album. Like, wow. So impressive.
She just is unstoppable, and I love this for her.
All right. So next up, I have a topic about Bravo, Bravo, fucking Bravo. And
Oh
by
God.
Bravo, I mean the cable network. What is cable? Uh, so I have a question. And before you answer, let me give you some background. Is Bravo over? Because I used to be obsessed with Bravo. Like, to the point where if I went to a hotel somewhere and they didn't have Bravo in the lineup, I was like, what kind of like shitty ass hotel is this that doesn't have Bravo? Like,
How
what?
dare that?
I can't watch Real Housewives while I'm out of town. Like, the hell? Uh, so I started watching the first incarnation of Real Housewives when it was Real Housewives of Orange County way back in 2006. Like that's how long this show has been on since 2006.
Wow.
I mean that's almost like no, that
That's a
actually
long
is a
time.
whole person's lifetime. That's 18 years.
Wow.
And I watched it because I lived in LA at the time and I had heard rumblings about Orange County, which is just south of LA. And it was always like, oh, Orange County, they're so conservative down there. And there's so many women with plastic surgery. Like LA doesn't have so many people with plastic surgery, but I guess Orange County was worse. I don't know. Uh, and people would say, like, oh, you're going behind the orange curtain. That's Orange County. And so when I heard they were going to make this show about women who lived in a gated community in Orange County, I was like, oh, I have to watch this because I need to see what it's like there. And it was fantastic. And the show is still on 18 years later. And of course, spawned all these other city versions, Atlanta, New York, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's been what, like 6, 7, 8 cities or something. And it was appointment television for me, like every week. But now it seems so toxic.
Yeah.
Like you have stories coming out about people in the cast being racist. Like there's a cast member in The Real Housewives of New York that is rumored to have sent a reporter from I can't remember what I think it was from the New York Post. Ramona Singer from The Real Housewives of New York is rumored to have sent a reporter the N-word
What?
and it wasn't the N-word. Like she actually like
She did
spelled
the
it out.
She did
Either
the ER.
either one is not okay. I don't even
Neither one is fine. I'm not justified either, but she did the hard R.
I think she did.
Wow.
And I think it was because she was being accused of saying it and she wrote it. She said, I did not say, and then wrote it out. But that's not the only like rumblings of Ramona being potentially racist. Like she has shown through multiple years, even when they like finally added a black cast member, like the lady
Oh,
is
that was
shady.
so cringe. See, oh, that was such a cringe season. My God.
Yeah. And then you have just the constant fighting. Like I watched the show because people were being like the usual petty next door neighbor kind of thing. But now it's like Real Housewives in New Jersey, you have two family members fighting and like families are breaking up. That's not entertaining. I'm not here to watch families fight. I don't want to watch a brother and sister who used to be really close fight with each other. And I'm referring to Teresa Giudice and Juicy Joe Gorga.
Juicy
Uh,
J. Ew. I mean, that's so gross. Ew. Do you
Wait,
like that? Why would you call him Juicy Joe?
wait, I think actually it's her ex-husband they call Juicy Joe.
Either one is that's gross.
Yeah, I mean it's gross. Uh but it's sad. And like the kids are collateral damage, crying about like I haven't seen my cousins, I haven't seen my uncle, I haven't seen my aunt. That is not entertaining. And Bravo seems to think that that's what we want to see. And maybe some people do enjoy seeing that kind of nonsense, but like for me, that's not why I'm watching TV is to see people like have their lives ruined.
I completely agree with you. It's also a reason why I'm not tapped into Bravo anymore because it just became very mean girl spirited. I know that a lot of foundation of it was about, to me, what brought me in was this, aspirational, like seeing Housewives of Atlanta, seeing these well-to-do entrepreneuring Black women who are doing the damn thing, and seeing OC and seeing these white women who are just going on luxury trips. And like, it was just like this, cool thing to see. And over time, I'll tell you what did it for me. It was probably 2 seasons ago of Real Housewives of Potomac. I used to love that show. Okay. The Grand Dame, Miss Monique, Cherie, all of them. I was like, look at these affluent Black women who are just doing the damn thing. And I think it was like 2 seasons ago where it was just like Robin, who, oh my gosh, she's just like, it's giving she needs a spiritual bath because the way her spirit's set up, I want no parts. Want no parts. Like, she was just so nasty. And it was kind of triggering for me because it reminded me of the Mean Girls growing up in grade school. It's just very grade school. It's very catty. It's just very
Like
like,
what remind me what she did in that season.
so in that season, she was just coming after Wendy. Like she was just throwing shade at Wendy, was saying she hated Candace. Like she was just being so negative. And a lot of it was targeted towards the darker skinned women on the show. Like
Yeah.
she saw her, Ashley, Giselle, and what's the other girl names? Mia, Light Skin Brigade, and against Wendy and Candace, it just became too sticky. And it just became like she was intentionally attacking her. Every scene she found any reason. Wendy would roll her eyes and Rob like, why are you rolling your like it's just every Wendy couldn't even cough. Why are you look at that bitch over there coughing? Like it just became why are you picking on this person? Like what did she could she possibly have done for you to just be this nasty and mean spirited towards her? And it's just like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching other women, grown ass women, treat each other like this? It's just not fun. And to your point with like the Judice family, it's like, okay, what? Like, I don't want to watch your family drama. Go to therapy. Yeah, I just feel like Bravo has served its time. You have a new lawsuit every week, whatever. It's not Brandy Glanville, if it's not Nene Leakes, now Kenya Moore allegedly is suing. It's just, you know, I feel that that era, not everything's gonna last long. We look at the generations where we had TRL, we had 106 apart. I feel like Bravo had its run. That era of the Housewives, truly, you can't top that.
What I will say though is I haven't been watching Housewives, but I was living for Summer House this past season, like the best season of Summer House yet. And I also like Southern Charm, which I got into late because I was like, why the hell am I going to watch a show called Southern Charm that is all white people who live in the deep South? And I just assume probably like their families owned slaves and they lived on plantations. Uh, but
I mean, that's what
I,
it's giving.
and it's actually not far off, but it's a good show. I gotta say, it's a good show. And what I like about these shows is they are one, the people are actually friends. So it's not like the Housewives where they just put a bunch of women together and then say, like, let's pretend that they know each other, even though we all know they freaking don't know each other. They were
Yeah.
just cast and watch them fight. Whereas with Summer House and Southern Charm, if people argue, it's because they are friends and friends argue. Uh, and what I loved about Summer House the most this season, besides the fact that like it's just a fun show to watch, is they showed the women in the show being supportive of each other, laughing together, having a good time, backing each other up. It wasn't about like, let's tear this bitch down, let me overproduce and like make her look terrible. I'm so jealous. Like it was like they're hugging each other. One of the women, her engagement ended with another cast member, and they all swarmed around her to show her love and say and like lift her up and like you're gonna be okay. Like let's see more of that. You can have entertaining shows with people getting along. Like it's actually possible.
Yeah, it's very possible. I liked Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martha's Vineyard just reminded me like they had vulnerable moments, they had moments of mental health, but it just seemed like they are actually friends to your point. Like they would show up to each other's weddings and like they would really be there. It's like, and so that's one of the things I really enjoyed about it. It's like these look like my friends, like my friend group, like people I would actually hang out with.
Yeah, I like Martha's Vineyard. Speaking of which, did you hear that Amir?
Amir, it proposed to Natalie. I saw that. I said, damn, he is really lost in the sauce, but hey, that's his business. I'm just like, whatever, dude.
Yes, Amir is the half black, half Lebanese cast member who has
Is
recently
trying to find his
discovered
love.
his,
No, he hasn't discovered. He's still searching for it. Okay, searching for his black. It's in
still
the abyss. It's in the
searching
abyss.
for his blackness, and he is now engaged to a a woman who came across as jealous and controlling, and she is Latina. And there's one scene where she is petting a black woman's hair.
Yep,
I, mhm.
and very messy girl. Starting drama, stirring drama is given no thanks.
Yeah, so when that announcement came out on social media, there's a lot of does she have his balls in a jar somewhere? Does she tell him what ring to buy and how much to spend, and then if he didn't do it, then she wouldn't marry him? Like, I mean, I don't like to see people get piled on social media, but if everybody thinks that you're making a dumb decision, you might need to rethink some things.
It's like yikes, sir. But hey, then again, people gonna be young and dumb. So.
Do what
Hmm.
you gotta do, Amir. Well, that's it for me and Pop and Jen. What you got?
So I would like to give a special shout out. And by the time you guys hear this, this might be video, might be old news, but there is a video that came out a few days ago of Miss Rihanna singing an iconic bop to her child's father, baby daddy man, Bay ASAP Rocky, called TGIF. And if you don't know, let me give you a little rundown. It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. I ain't got no and ain't got me. Like that is the bop of the summer. I didn't think I could love anything more than to see two of my favorite things coming together. Like I have just recently just become I wouldn't say a stan for Glorilla, but just she just makes such good motivational music. Like her song Yeah Glow, she goes, "Stop overthinking. These hoes can't F with you." Profit.
Poetry.
A profit. A profit. Honestly, the way the Lord is moving in her life is just truly remarkable to see, first of all. Her name is Gloria Hallelujah Woods.
Is
Like,
her middle name Hallelujah?
yes, it's hallelujah. And so it's like she was just meant for this. She was born for this. And so Rihanna posted a video of her singing along to the song of the summer. And I was just like, there are not two better things that I love. The Glorilla of it all and the Rihanna of it all. And I just want to ask, have you seen that video? And have you heard the
I
song?
saw the video yesterday. I It was so cute
It was
because it was
adorable.
just her. It was so normal. It was just her with her boyfriend, the father of her children, in a silly, goofy moment, the kind that you have with people that you feel safe around.
Yeah.
And she just was being like a fan. It was so cute. I loved it.
I loved it too. And it just showed like I'm happy that she can be herself and
Yeah.
might feel safe. And he's just like you could tell that she draws him like just plays all day. Like I loved it. It was just adorable. And seeing those little clips in his hair, I was like, this
Oh, yeah.
that was funny. But yeah, I loved it. It was my favorite video of the week. I was like, oh my gosh, this is adorable. I love the song. I love Glorilla. I love her rise. And so I was like, look at this fusion of two of my favorite things.
It was really cute.
But I think that I heard that you have a story time to share with us.
I do. Let's get into story time. So, since it's our first episode, and people are just getting to know us, I figured I'd tell a little story about when I found out I was getting another little sister. So, for some background, there are four girls in our family, our immediate family. I'm actually the second oldest. We have an older sister who's a year older than me. We'll call her M, as in Mary. And then we have a middle sister who
Wait, why
is
not like Margaret? Like why Mary?
Margaret.
Okay, what
The
about like
fuck? Is this
we're
the
not
20s?
we're not saying their real names because like they're our sisters and we want to just like be respectful of them. But like, what about like
Mary,
Moesha?
like Mary. Oh, fine. Okay.
I think of Mary. Did you know that you're a baby boy? That's what's giving. But continue. Sorry. Go.
Okay. We'll call her Moesha. Mo to
Okay.
the.
Well, to the because she loved that show growing up. So boom.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. She also loved Mary J. Blige, but whatever. And then what are we gonna call our middle sister N, who is 6 years younger than me?
Nin, nin, nin. um, we could call her.
Nene.
What is this? What?
I don't know.
Natasha. Let's call her Natasha.
Natasha.
Natasha Moesha.
Natasha. Okay, so picture it. Our family is living in Stone Mountain, Georgia,
Not you giving specifics.
because it's relevant. Stone Mountain, Georgia used to be, as I found out later, a former headquarters of the KKK,
On the 18th block of Jefferson Avenue.
which explains so much about some of the experiences I had living there, but we'll save those stories for another time. Uh, but mom and dad came back from a trip to Jamaica, and a few months later, they tell me and Moesha, at the time we're 12 and 13, we're going to have another baby. And Moesha and I are like, the fuck? Of course, we didn't say that because we would have had like the spit slapped out of our mouth for cursing in front of our parents, but that's what we were thinking. Like, they're, one, they're doing the things that get you to have a baby, and two, aren't they old? And in retrospect, they were not old.
Not at
I
all.
believe that mom was 35,
Mhm.
36,
Okay.
still producing eggs, like still very fertile. Dad was 34. So they were very capable of having children. But yeah, they're like, our old asses are having a baby. Okay, great. Just gonna be four of us. And then a few months later, they tell us, and we're gonna move to Texas. And Moesha and I were like, our new sister's going to be born in Texas. And we didn't know anything about Texas. Like, I know I believed the stereotypes. Like, at the time, all I really knew about Texas was the show Dallas, which I'm sure you don't even know what that is. But it was,
Correct.
I just thought we were going to be like riding horses to school. And I just like envisioned like dirt and country. And I was horrified because was I'm from New York. I lived in the city. Like, this was not my ministry. And so I remember Moesha and I saying to mom, can you just go have her in New York so she can be from New York? Like, Texas? So we moved to Texas, and in the early 90s, uh, our sweet Chantal was born, uniting our family and bringing us all joy. And I, if you had told me all those years ago that she and I would become best friends one day, I I don't know if I would have believed it. Not because I don't love her and didn't love her, but because by the time I moved out to go to college, she was 5 years old. Like,
Well, I was in kindergarten when you were going into college. Like that was like that to give people an understanding of just like the generational, like, yeah.
Yeah. So, we're living completely different lives and we didn't even really grow up in the same house for that long.
Yeah.
Uh,
We had
but
two
yeah,
different, like, we had different versions of our parents.
precisely. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's another episode.
Some of us had it harder than others.
Anyway, it's not my fault I got pushed out last.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the groundwork that your older sisters laid for you to
Oh, I absolutely do. I appreciate y'all beyond I can ever express. So thank you for being right before me. But oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Some days it's giving what is going on, what is this rock that we're spinning on. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that God placed us in this lifetime at the same time to experience each other. And it's so happy to do this thing called life with you.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I agree. So I want to move things along. First of all, thank you for that super sweet story. Um, it warmed my heart, but I gotta know, like, I've been watching a lot of TV. I'm a streaming girl. I gotta know, what are you watching right now on TV?
So I'm actually rewatching I'm rewatching episodes of FBI.
You and this,
Uh
is this like a hyperfixation show for you?
it's just, how sometimes it's hard to get into new shows. Like you have to be like in the mood to pay attention and like I tried to watch The Bear and I was just like I can't focus on this right now and it's so dark. Like not that FBI isn't dark. Every episode basically starts out with somebody getting
Literally, someone's getting their head rolled off.
but the
Not
bear
dark.
is like real. I don't know. It's just like anyway. So but I did try to start watching the latest season of Love Island because it is hosted by my girl Ariana Madix and as I mentioned, I'm a Bravo fan and I do love Vanderpump Rules even though the last two seasons have been
Yeah, she's team
uh
Ariana. I'm team no thanks.
which I don't
That's another
know.
episode, but you continue.
I don't know what your problem is, but anyway, so Ariana Madix is the
I'm just
host.
saying you should now be the face of like everything. But
Okay,
you
anyway, she worked hard
yeah,
for
go on.
this. She
Yeah, okay, sure. Fantastic.
So I'm happy for Ariana's success. She is hosting Love Island, the new season, and I had tried to get into Love Island before, but this show is on. Like there's like fucking like 30 episodes. Like who has the time? And some of these guys, they're boys. They really are boys. And it just kind of feels like inappropriate to be even thinking about them as anything other than that. But I'm living for Ariana's intros with the slow motion and the close-ups and her amazing fashion. She is killing it and her body looks fantastic. And yeah. So I'm about 4 episodes in and we'll see how far I make it because as I said, the show is on every day, like 5 days a week. And I think there's going to be like 30 episodes. I don't know if I can commit to that, but it's good to have on in the background. The other thing I started watching is this documentary on Hulu about Sherry Papini.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
think it's called The Perfect Wife.
Yes.
And if you're not familiar, if anyone listening is not familiar, Sherry Papini is the very thin, blonde white woman who went missing uh, back in what, the mid 2010s.
He,
And as it turns out, that bitch wasn't missing. She she did this whole thing herself because she needed attention and she was upset with her husband.
and she framed two
Oh, yes,
Hispanic
yes.
women. And the entire community was so scared shitless that anytime there would be pairs of two Latino women or more, people would call in reports.
Yeah.
It was just like how disgusting of you to literally make up this, and she kept that lie going for like 6 years. For
Yeah.
6 years, she kept the lie going. And so the whole community just had this whole stereotype against Hispanics. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? She's sick.
Yeah, and like I don't know if they mentioned this in the documentary because I'm not done with it yet, but I've read and heard in other like documentaries and podcasts that there's evidence of her having posted on white supremacist message boards, saying racist things. So she has a history of being a racist bitch.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, bro, she just got out of jail, didn't she? Because she served like 18 months. Which
That's
I'm
it?
That's it. She only served like 18 months. I
Look,
think
I'm
she just
not
got out.
here for incarceration, but some people do need to be punished.
Did you hear her husband whenever he said that he knew she was lying as soon as
I
he
did. I did.
saw her at the hospital? Like he said he pulled the curtain. You hear her, you just listen to her, and that cops asked to speak to her, and she goes, "I don't want to talk to you." It's like, first of all, anytime you say you don't want to talk to the cops after you've just been kidnapped, it's giving suspicious. She's like, and did you hear the husband now wants to have the kids' names? They don't want. Um, I think her daughter, some is named after her, and so he's changing their names. He said,
Oh,
"We are getting as far away from you as possible."
so
God.
that's it for me for what I'm watching.
Okay, I'm kind of watching not similar, but like a docu series on Max called Six Schizophrenic Brothers. It is about a family of like 12 kids, and six of those kids are schizophrenic from the same family. And some of them become murderers, suicidal, serial killers. Like it's crazy. So that is a crazy story. Like the siblings used to torment their younger siblings and like burn their hands on like the stove. Like it's a crazy. And so it shows like this researcher who's like researching like the story of like how six children from the same family have schizophrenia. Just such an interesting story. Highly recommend watching that. But what's really got me in a tizzy, Your Honor on Netflix, starring Bryan Cranston. Let me tell you something. It is a story about a man who is a judge played by Bryan Cranston, whose son kills the son of a mafia family.
Mm.
And so it is the craziest ride, the craziest story. And it is just, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. Unfortunately, it only had 2 seasons, but it's so good. I love me a good suspenseful story. So good.
Wait, so this is the second season?
So it only had 2 seasons. So
I've
it was
never
on
even heard
Showtime.
of this.
I
Oh,
never heard of it either. It was on Showtime. It came out in 2020. Never heard of the show. Just got added to Netflix, I think, last month. And it's like trending #1 on Netflix. And I kept seeing it. I was like, okay, let me check this out. It's so good. It's
wow.
fantastic. Bryan Cranston did a great job. I'm hooked. Hooked. You will really like it. You will really like the show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, you feel like you're literally in the scenes with him. Bryan Cranston does a fantastic job. Does he have an Emmy? Because if not, somebody needs to give him an Emmy. I don't know.
Pretty sure he's won at least one Emmy for Breaking Bad,
Okay, good, because
if not like 80.
what a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm watching.
You want to hear what I've been listening to?
Sure.
So, with the exception of one song, I'm apparently in my like Gen Z white girl pop era because I some of the songs that have been in rotation right now are Lunch by Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Have you heard that song?
Maybe. I don't
She
really,
said,
I
I
call her
could
Billie
eat that girl
Eilish.
for lunch.
Oh, okay. All
It's
right then.
really cute. I saw Billie Eilish at the Global Citizen Festival a few years ago, and that's when I became a fan. I was like, oh, she's so fun. I just liked her energy. Like I could see myself being friends with her if I was like the same age in high school.
You were 21. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And then that song Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. You have to have heard that song. It's like played all the time.
Heard that song.
You have or you haven't?
Have everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Like by the time this episode probably comes out, people are gonna be like, I'm so sick of that song, but it's fun. Um, and then 360 by Charlie XCX. No,
Mm-mm.
nothing. Okay. They're just like light and fun songs. Um, And then there's this artist named Chapel Roan that I heard about a couple weeks ago from another podcast, actually. And she has like she's such an interesting vibe. She's like kind of like Cyndi Lauper meets like, I don't know, like an 80s new wave band. And she has a song called Good Luck Babe that is just like light and poppy that I also like. So if you're looking for light, fun pop music, Chapel Roan is good. And then as a nod to who you mentioned earlier, Miss Glorilla, I like
Yeah.
Wannabe with Glorilla
Yeah.
and Megan the Stallion, my girl.
Mid. Go mid.
Although I don't know why they have to call out Channing Tatum. Like, what did Channing do? Like,
Rates at Channing Tate. I think they just think about Magic Mike or something. They probably were in the studio thinking about random white men that they could name. And so they're like, let's do Channing Tatum.
but like, I wish I could redo that song and say "White Boy Wasted" like Justin Timberlake or something because
Oh, I know. Oh, that would have been White Boy Justin Timber. Yeah, White Boy Wait Justin Timber. Yeah, I can see it. Okay, that's what we're gonna do now.
like
That'd be funny if they did the remix like that.
I'm pretty sure Channing Tatum is just dating Lenny Kravitz's daughter, whose name is escaping me right now, and raising his
Oh,
own
got it.
daughter. Yes, Zoe Kravitz.
Okay. Yes, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. What you got on rotation?
I am, as you know, an R&B head. I love R&B music very much.
Yes.
I love my Masego. Right now, I'm listening to Duran Bernard. I have him on repeat. I love it so much. I just came back from seeing T-Pain at the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm still
Yeah.
crying from that because it's so good. Duran was there performing, Layla Hathaway, Lettucey, Erica Campbell from Mary Mary. It was so funny because me and my friend were shouting out "Shekels" whenever Erica Campbell from Mary Mary. I remember when I was little, I thought Mary and Mary was their names. And I was like, I felt bamboozled when I found out it wasn't. I was like, how dare you lie? But other than that, I am listening to Glorilla's TGIF. I love that song so much. It makes me feel like just that girl. Also JT's Okay. The remix with Young Jeezy is so good. It is so good. Like Young Jeezy is back in his bag. He said, let me put this relationship to the side. Let me get back in my bag. Let me get back in my bag. And he is
And also maybe put his guns back in his bag and keep him away from his daughter.
at
But continue.
that. Right. Yes. What you said. But yes,
Right, I had to.
that's what I'm listening to.
JT and Young Jeezy. Okay.
It's called Okay.
Oh, it's called Okay. 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 Wow.
hmm
Wow. I think we're at the end.
We are at the end of our episode, y'all.
The end of our first episode. Oh my gosh.
Oh, gee, we did it. We did it. Look at us doing things we said we would do.
Yes. It's 2024 for you.
Oh,
Well, for those of you who have made it to the end of the episode, which I hope most of you have, um, look for new episodes of the pod every other Thursday. And you can follow us on Instagram at CrossGen Sisters. That is CrossGen Sisters. And also at crossgensisters@gmail.com if you really just like emailing folks. Only send us nice things though. And because we're building our podcast, please follow us on Apple and Spotify and rate, review, and subscribe. And finally, tell your sisters, your brothers, your friends, and your other loved ones about us. Thanks for listening. Bye. Love you, sis.
love you, sis.